was before then. The MMA2 is a clear example. Nigeria has a brand new airport. Okay, yes, there was a building there before, but Nigeria didn't spend a dime. How do you link all these concepts and principles to your budget? Because if you have people, if you bring in the Chinese and say, build me a rail from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, build me a rail from Lagos to Kano, we're not paying you a dime. Collect your money over the next 30 years through tickets. The Chinese will be here all over the place. Build me an airport, brand new airport. Build me the 5th mainland bridge, put a toll. You will reduce the amount of money you are looking for. Now, government talk about this PPP, yet they do not put the necessary architecture and infrastructure to drive it. I'll give you an instance. There is an ICRC, Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission. It is such a powerless organization that because the assets, and it's not because of them, the assets are not in their domain. Ministry of Works has the assets, Ministry of Finance has the assets, Housing has the assets. So for them to be able to say, okay, we want to privatize or commercialize, they will need to go and buy goods. But I'm saying that if there is a rallying point for these ministries and departments and agencies of government, the amount of money you are trying to borrow will diminish. Let us not even ask where the monies are, because they will never, if it's where things work, they will let you know how much they've collected, where it is, and how they want to deploy it. So there is a structural deformity. And I'm putting pressure on labor. That's the only people that governments fear. Labor.
Okay. A divided labor.
Okay.
A divided labor.
Mr. Fasua, this goes on year in, year out. Every year our budget is late. What is the effect of this on our economy? Are we losing a lot, or it doesn't matter?
Okay. Well, I was going to get to that, the point that even we talk without a delay, what kind of budgets are we even talking about in the first place? Certainly, there's what they call lag effect in economics. What happens when you don't take decisions when you should, you're going to pay for it. And apart from that, I mean, we live in a globalized, supersonic, information-driven world where every second matters, every second counts. And like Mr. Odibo had said there, if you don't score, someone else scores. If you don't take advantage of things, and of course, if you don't take advantage of your time in today's world, you're going to pay for it. Someone else is going to take advantage of that time. It's very simple. For every year, for every minute, for every second where the government of Nigeria refuses to deploy its own plans, its own economic and financial plans for the economy, somebody else is going to fill the vacuum. So people are going to keep depending on imported stuff, imported information, imported materials, and what have you. But if you look very closely at the 2017 budget, you'll probably just find out that our budgets are getting worse and worse as the years go by. I mean, we're talking about a budget that's going to be 35% funded by borrowing. And as not mentioned just now, we're seeing monies popping up from different directions. Some guys keeping $43 million in a room in some house. Some guy keeping $10 million in another place. I've always argued with my economist friends, especially the ones that, a lot of them that are in financial markets, that when we talk about market forces determining different things, the point is that we should put government under pressure, we should put our society in general under pressure, that all these illegal funds that are hanging in different places, you make it back into the market. If they are hanging illegally, we should get them back. And there are thousands of such instances going on. So 35% of the budget is going to be funded. We're talking about 35% deficit. It's madness, if you ask me. About 65% of our revenue is going to be used for funding, for debt funding, and we're still thinking about borrowing even more. So we have created a vicious cycle, and nobody seems to be talking about that. And at the end of the day, so the budget itself is, if you ask me, it's not a good budget for the economy. You know, things like we talk about building assets and capital funding and capital budgets all over the place. But in my view, I've always pointed out to anybody that care to listen that we have so many capital projects around the country that have been abandoned. When Dr. Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala was minister, she said at I think it was 2014 or 2013 that the government intended to prioritize 10,000 abandoned projects for that year. Now, that is 10,000 out of the numerous abandoned projects. I mean, a country that abandons projects at will is a country that's not heading anywhere. You know, so these things are happening all over the country. And so the point now is we should actually really find out what exactly are we trying to achieve. Luckily for us, the crude oil price is recovering a bit. You know, we may get out of recession. That seems almost certain. But that is just on paper. That is when you calculate GDP, you talk about growth rates and so on and so forth. You know, but in terms of the real, you know, being pro-poor, lifting people out of poverty, the greatest of China today is because they were able to lift about 300, 400 million people out of poverty. We're not talking about that in Nigeria at all. You know, a lot of our policies are peripheral. A lot of the policies that made it into the budget are all this kind of vanity projects. Someone wants to build something gargantuan, which is not going to be well managed. I'm coming into the studio around. There's a junction around the corner there where they're building the bridge. And even this bridge is half built, but people are pasting all sorts of things on it, which tells you that if even the people don't appreciate the infrastructure you're building for them, Nigeria as a whole, we don't understand the attention to details that is required in order for us to make the progress that we need. So the issue is not the 2017 budget. The point is that we need to go back to the ethos behind the preparation of this budget. We need to go back to what exactly are we trying to achieve. And again, like I would end with this, the politics is about the economy. And economics is about the people. Therefore, politics is about the people, no matter what these guys do. And that's why, because they're bereft of ideas, they're keeping monies in their houses. It is totally embarrassing, it is barbaric for people to keep millions and hundreds of billions in their rooms. Okay. The money is that they're probably never going to spend, you know.
Mr. Pastor, if I may come in here. Now, yes, they are keeping monies in their houses. And these monies are being recovered. So, would it be wrong for wouldn't it be a good idea for the government to take these monies that have been recovered, that a lot of people hear about and they go, whoa, you mean we have this amount of money in the country and they've been recovered? Would it be wrong to use those same monies to fund the budget? Why do we have to go out borrowing?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it is only logical if they do that. In fact, I was on an NTA program with the Attorney General about a few weeks back, and that was what I was saying. These guys were talking about law. The Attorney General was there. Honorable Dogua was there from the House. You know, these guys are sound minds and all of that, but they are legalese. They were talking legalese. I said, listen, all this money is being recovered actually is an economic issue. You cannot have this money in your economy potentially. I tell you what, if Donald Trump, as rich as he is and sitting on top of the world, if he saw $43 million cash money, he would probably faint. All the monies that they've been talking about but have been hidden or discovered in different places, hidden by drug barons, none of them have ever been $43 million. Hardly would you find $10 million in. So listen, we're running a rogue economy where people are actually living the lives of drug barons, you know, and these are supposed to be government officials, right? Nigerian economy is an open system. If people go in there, they take what they want and they work. You know, and then before they even begin to think about what do they do with the money, because it's an open system. So I told them there that, listen, what we should be thinking about is, if you like, call it extra legal means, we need to borrow these monies while the cases are in court. We need to borrow the money and use it, except we don't understand the urgency of now. But if you go on the street, they will understand the urgency of now. We cannot sit on our high horses and be debating legalese about, you know, and therefore we're even borrowing money into the future and jeopardizing the lives and the livelihoods of our children and children unborn, you know, when we could have done the right thing.
Okay, we would take a moment. When we'll come back, we'll continue this conversation around the 2017 budget. Don't go away.
of search warrant, and which is provided for under the law. This search warrant, in fulfillment of the procedure of the law, 3 of the Senator Danjuma Goje's relatives were present. What we have is 38 files, which were duly registered at the back of the search warrant, and it was endorsed by those 3 relatives. One of them is his nephew, who is a chartered quantity surveyor, Danjuma Muhammad. Then the other one is the Ango Usman, like I mentioned, the housekeeper, and Aisha Umar, who is the stepdaughter to the senator.
Are you saying that in all of this, you've gone through all of the 38 files and you found nothing that has to do with the 2017 budget in them?
None. No single document, no single paper relates to the 2017 budget. And mind you, the budget has been with them for months now. So it would be wrong for anybody to now come up and they say because of the police conducted search warrant. Part of the thing that were recovered was a cash sum of 18,056,000 naira was recovered, and it was entered into the search. $19,850 was equally entered. We equally recovered cash sum of 9,400 Saudi riyal, which was equally entered. Then the 38 files and 6 envelopes containing documents, and some of them are listed, like we said in a press release. One of them is the file on release of fund for special operations, A to F, 2009. Then also recover is file on Gombe State Government of Nigerian cash inflow, 2005. You know very well that the Senator Danjuma Goje was previously the executive governor of Gombe State during the period. A file on project 2007, executive brief on how to fight opposition in Gombe State, strategy and tactics. And these are part of the file we are investigating, because you can, from the title of the file, you know it's something that police must investigate. Then equally, we have an envelope containing permit to operate an all-industry service company, special category, 2011. And we also have a file containing write-ups on how Governor Sekau plotted the assassination of Sheikh Jafaru.